Peace. It's me again, Tahara, with another rideshare moment, coming to you guys with a funny but not so funny conversation during my earlier, experience I had during my earlier nursing career. As you guys know, well, maybe you don't know, but I've been a nurse for a few years now, and this happened when I first became a nurse. I was 19 years old when I first became a nurse, and this happened during those times. This was my very first job, and as a matter of fact, I had just turned 20 when I got my first job. I got my license when I was 19, and a few weeks later, I turned 20. So I was 20 years old when I first got my job, my first job in nursing. And, with me being a new nurse, I definitely expected to get more training, but I didn't. This was long-term care, and if you don't know what long-term care census are, usually nurse to patient ratio, is usually in long-term care is usually about 32 to 1. Back then, I think it was about 30 to 1. It was just myself with 30 patients. And, within those patients, you had to do meds and treatments and, everything else. You were responsible for all that stuff. And if an emergency arises, you were definitely responsible for that also. So, it was a situation where a patient, I'm just going to give you a brief scenario just to put things into perspective. So, patient, I came in and I have gotten to routine where I would go down a hallway and I would peek my head into every patient just to see what's going on, make sure everybody is alive, one, because it is long-term care. But to tell everybody, good morning, hi, how are you guys doing? I'm going to be your nurse, yada, yada, yada. So I started at the very end of the hallway, and then I worked my way up to the beginning of the hallway and peeked my head into every patient and, kind of tapped their shoulder just to let them know, just to make them open up their eyes a little bit, because it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I was working a 7 to 3 shift. So I came in, and once I got to the beginning of the hallway, that's when I went to the nurse's station and got report. Report is basically the off-going nurse. You would get the status of each patient basically and count your medications and, all the things. So after, everything else happened with that, and I got control of the med card, and I started passing my medications, and, long story short, patient came in. Long story short, a little bit into the shift, one of the aides came to me, and basically the lady's leg was broken. Sent her out to the hospital, her leg was broken. And then the patient ended up passing away, a few days later at the hospital. So, we all had to write a report of what happened, and me being a new nurse, I wrote down exactly what happened, and it didn't go well with a lot of people. And with me being the new person on board, I ended up being not liked very much because of this. So fast forward to the reason why we're having this discussion. Excuse me. So this particular day, I came in and took control of the cart. Now, granted, I wasn't there that long, and ever since we had to write that report, and it might have got a few people in trouble, but that wasn't my intention. My intention was to, one, tell the truth, and two, save my license, because I definitely had nothing to do with what happened, and I know exactly what happened. Anyway, so this particular day, I gained control of the card, and they started giving me the heaviest assignments now. Now, the person who, the DON, the nurse manager, rather not the DON, the nurse manager who was doing the assignment her and the aides, all of them were friends. They would go out to the bars together and things like that. We were all fairly young, but I was one of the younger ones, one of the younger nurses, not the younger ones. I was one of the younger nurses. So, any event, so we would go. I came in, I gained control of the cart, and I realized that I had one of the heaviest assignment. And this particular lady, she had a bed sore on her bottom, and it was down to the bone, where when you change the bed sore, you can see her bone. Like, it was a really bad, really bad bed sore, and she wasn't doing well because of the sore, and other things also, but she wasn't doing well. So, I was overwhelmed with the assignment because it was a very hard assignment. It was very, very heavy. And the nurse who normally does it, I always wondered why they put her on the easy assignment and will put me on that assignment. I've always thought, like, something's not right with this, because this is normally her assignment. But, I didn't say anything. I did the best I can. And, you would think with me being a new nurse, they would come and help, or, ask, do I need any assistance? Like, nothing. So I knew I had the treatment. I'm not making any excuses for it. I'm not going to make it seem like I didn't do anything wrong. But keep in mind, I'm 20. No excuse, because I took this oath and that was my job. But my mentality was very different than it is now. Think about a 19, 20-year-old's mentality. Not good. Anyway, so I didn't do the treatment, which was not right. I'm not going to sit here and act like it wasn't. But it seems like, to me, it was a setup. Like, they knew I didn't do the treatment, so the next day they were going to put me on the assignment to do the same assignment, knowing I was overwhelmed with it because I didn't get any lunch. Nobody came and said anything, so they knew I was overwhelmed with the assignment. So the next day I came in, I took control of the cart again. They had me on the same assignment, and I did do the treatment that day. And when I did do it, I realized that they were putting extra stuff on the bandage. Now, granted, when you change the bandage, you're supposed to put your initials on it, the date, and the time. And they were putting some extra stuff on the bandages. So I knew it was a setup, but again, like I said, I was very young. So I was just wondering, like, what's going on? No, let me take back. I really didn't know it was a setup, but I was wondering, like, what is going on with this? Like, I just didn't know what was going on. So fast forward, they ended up bringing me into the third day. I took control of the assignment, and I didn't do the dressing again that day. Now, like I said to you, I know I was wrong. It wasn't right for me not doing the assignment, but it's no excuse for it at all. So I ended up being pulled into the DON's office because of it, because I didn't do the assignment. And, I would ask questions like, what is this about? Because the girl who normally does it, it was switched over, and now I'm with the assignment. What's going on here? Like, I just find it mighty strange that y'all put me in with this lady. Y'all put me in with this really, really hard assignment. Not just the lady, but the whole assignment period was really hard, really heavy assignment. What's going on? Oh, well, we can switch people around whenever we want. Long story short, I ended up losing that job because, again, like I told you, I was very young. I went completely ballistics. Now, was I right? No. I know I was dead wrong. I know I was wrong. It was caused by me. But I told you that story in order to just give a heads up to the new nurses coming in. Every specialty is not for everyone. If you can't handle, if you are a nurse, a new grad nurse, and you are trying to figure things out, go around to different specialties, venture out, see what works best for you. Don't stay into something that, one, you know you don't like, and two, it's just not a good fit for you. Because one, it will either they're going to set you up like I was set up, or you're going to make you lose your license, or you're just going to be very, 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 very miserable. And both of those situations, well, I didn't lose my license, but they tried to set me up, and I was very miserable because I know long-term care just wasn't for me. And I knew that. And I remember one time when I moved to a new state, I ended up going to an agency and picked up an assignment, and it was long-term care. But when I took the assignment, now granted, I told you I don't like long-term care. So to this day, I will not take long-term care. I don't care how much they're paying. I do not like it. I do not want it. No, thank you. So I took the assignment, but the lady told me it was rehab. Rehab and long-term care is different. But then I realized that they are now grouping it all in one and tricking people and telling them it's rehab. When rehab, you only have a few patients, maybe 8-10 patients. I still had 32 patients. So, that first night they got me. I did the assignment. I did the best I can. I was on that floor. It was a 3 to 11. I was there until 1 o'clock doing my assignment. And this is why I don't like it. I was doing my assignment. I was charting. I wasn't still passing meds, but I was charting until about 1 o'clock. And that's why I don't do it. No, thank you. No, thank you. So the next day I was signed up for the same facility. And when I went in, I seen I was on the same floor, and I walked out. And when I walked out, they called me. Now, this was 7 to 3 also. They called me, the agency called me and said, you were scheduled for that time. And I told her, I know. And I went there, and I seen that I was on that same floor. And I called you that day and told you, if I'm there, call and make sure I'm not on this floor. You assured me that I would not be on that floor. The next day when I came in, I was there, and I left. And she tried to threaten me and tell me that I was going to lose my license. But I had to tell her, I know my stuff, and I definitely know that I can't lose my license because I never took control of the cart, and I never counted the narcotics, and I never got reports. So you can't get me for my license, but you're definitely not going to get me to go back in there. I'm not going. And then, she tried to tell me that I'm the only one that has an issue. Well, call the nurses that don't have an issue, because I'm not it. Thank you. Bye. Click. But, find your niche. Find what's good for you, what fits for you, what you are comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, this is a licensure that you worked hard for. You stayed up, tired, crying, many sleepless nights, trying to obtain your goal and get exactly what you got. And don't allow anyone to take that from you. This is coming from someone who has been there for a long time. Just, if you don't do anything else, take that word of advice from me and understand where I'm coming from. And this is definitely coming from a place of love. Find your niche. Find something that works for you. Find something that you enjoy and run with it. Don't stick around in a place where you are miserable. Because, you would be, it just wouldn't be a good look for you. And I said all that to say peace and love and blessings to you all, and good luck on you guys' journey. And I'm out. Peace.